So I was on Twitter the other day, or X, as we're supposed to call it now. But yeah, I came across this Grok thing, the AI. So I thought, obviously, naturally, going to ask it to write me a short story about UK noughties indie. So should we see what it said? So yeah, it's written as a story pretty instantly called "The Riffs of Rainy Nights," and this was the first one it wrote. I didn't want to like write one until it picked bands that I liked or whatever, or that I thought were better. Let's just have a little read, shall we? It was 2006 and the damp streets of Manchester glistened under flickering streetlights. I don't know if it's picked Manchester because it knows that's where I am, but I actually don't have much knowledge of Manchester back in the 2000s, so anyway. Inside a cramped, sticky floored venue called the Roadhouse, never went there personally. The air buzzed with anticipation. Liam huddled near the bar, pint in hand, his skinny jeans clinging to his legs like second skin. Could say he's a bit try-hard. I think Ryan Jam would claim he's a bit try-hard with those skinny jeans. Um, he'd spent the last of his student loan on a ticket. He'd spent the last of his student loan on a ticket to see the Pigeon Detectives, a scrappy Leeds outfit whose jagged riffs and shout-along choruses had been blaring through his headphones all term. I did put this story on Instagram, and someone replied in the stories as if you'd spend your last year student loan on the Pigeon Detectives, but each of their own. The 2000s were a strange electric time for UK indie guitar music. The Libertines had kicked things off early in the decade. Their chaotic poetry and ramshackle gigs sparked a flame that refused to die. Sparking a flame that refused to die. By mid-decade, it was everywhere. Arctic Monkeys spitting out tales of Sheffield nightlife. Block party slicing through the London's con- Block party slicing through London's concrete sprawl with angular precision. And Franz Ferdinand making everyone dance like it was 1979 all over again. Do you think this AI's got a hold of a load of old NME copies or something? Sounding a bit Matt Beaumont, innit? Liam had grown up on his older brother's Oasis CDs, but this was different, raw, urgent, and unmistakably his. I mean, I can relate to that. I wonder where they picked this up from. That's quite a good line, that last one, to be fair. The lights dimmed and the crowd surged for. The lights dimmed and the crowd surged forward. A sea of floppy fringes and thrift shop jackets. When the band tore into I Found Out, the room erupted. Guitars snarled, drums thundered, and Liam screamed the lyrics until his throat burned. It wasn't just music, it was a lifeline. A sweaty, glorious escape from the grey monotony of lectures and overdrafts. Outside, after the encore, the rain had stopped. Liam lit a fag and leaned against the chipped brick wall. Ears still ringing. A girl with coal smudged eyes. What's coal? I don't know what that is. Right, it's an eyeliner. I think we used to wear that, to be fair. Just went for the Clockwork Orange vibe. Definitely nicked off the Paddingtons, but anyway. A girl with coal smudged eyes and the Kaiser Chiefs pin on her bag stumbled over. Grinning. Mad gig, eh? She said. He nodded and they swapped stories of other shows. Maximo Park at the Apollo. Claxons at a secret warehouse rave. Did they do them? That sounds more like 90s or something. 90s rave, but I don't know, I could be wrong. The indie scene wasn't just bands, it was a tribe stitched together by MySpace pages, enemy reviews, and the promise of another night like this. Sounds a bit like a Sounds a bit like a Pigeons Detective lyric, that doesn't it? The promise of another night like this. By 2009, by 2009, the sound would shift. Synths creeping in, guitar bands fading from the charts, but for now, in the smoky haze of Manchester that night, the riffs reigned supreme and Liam felt invincible. See, I suppose a bit of a short and sweet one, hence the short story. But yeah, it's kind of addictive. I did go on to ask it about the Paddingtons and told me some story about them playing the Queen's Pub in Hotel to raise money for Adelphi toilets, which I think is actually based on some true story there. There was a thing about raising money for Adelphi toilets, but there was some inaccuracies in the detail, so I won't get into that. But yeah, it can be quite addictive. Just getting it to create stories or different stuff. When I mentioned NME before, you could probably get it to create like an NME magazine. What do you make of that anyway? Is it just a waste of time? Do you identify with this? Or do you think AI and maybe X in general is just well left alone? Have your say in the comments.